Hello, everyone. The time now is 2:03. I would like to start the special meeting on June 7, 2023. Start out with a closed session. So roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Nguyen,
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Nguyen,
Here.
Councilmember Fan West, Councilmember Monzo,
I'm here.
and Councilmember Ho.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We can go ahead and invite if there's any speaker for the oral communication. I just want to mention that the oral communication at this point is only for the closed session item only, and nothing outside of that. Thank you.
Mayor, we have no speakers.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, I'd like to recess for closed session. Yeah. Good afternoon. The time now is 3:05, and I would like to reconvene the council meeting and call to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Nguyen,
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Nguyen,
I'm here.
Councilmember Fan West,
Here.
Councilmember Monzo,
I'm here.
Councilmember Ho.
I'm here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. A salute to the flag today is Councilmember West, and invocation would be done by me. Please stand.
Thank you. Please put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Bow your head for invocation. Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance as we meet tonight to conduct business of our city government. Help us keep in mind that we are here to serve the people of Westminster and enable us to make our decisions so that we may do what is best for all of the citizens we represent. Amen.
Amen.
I want to thank you, Councilmember West, for the salute to the flag. And now is the time for City Attorney closed session report, please.
There were two items on the closed session. One concerning, there was one potential litigation item and one real property negotiations issue, and there was nothing to report.
Thank you so much. And now we are going to oral communication. And I would like to mention that oral communication for matters only on the agenda today, nothing outside the agenda. If anything outside the agenda, I have to stop you from that. So clerk, can you read the instruction for the record, please?
Thank you, Mayor. This is the time of the meeting that members of the public may address the City Council regarding items only on the agenda. Unless otherwise extended by a majority vote of the City Council, comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Any person wishing to address the City Council in person should complete a green speaker slip that is provided at the entrance to the council chambers and submit the card to the city clerk. When your name is called, please step to the podium at that time and state your name and city of residence for the record.
Thank you. So would you please go call the first speaker, please?
Okay, Joseph No.
Hello. Actually, I'm on the one to bring up the banner of the Asian Mall, Garden Mall. They have the 44-inch high and 140-foot long. So the city only allow for 40 square foot banner, but this one they have like 518 square foot banner wrap around the Garden Mall. That is, I think it's illegal because they block all the fire escape. And so that's why, and make a research from the on the city. So that's why the Asian Mall, if they want to do the business, they have to have the floor plan and escape exit for the fire and earthquake. And they have to have a no banner of fence like this, and they have to have the city review all the plan and the floor plan and fire escape plan, and they have to have the fire OCFA permit. They have to have the health department permit for every vendor they sell food and drink. So and the parking cannot be closed like during business hour. If they want to do business, they only can close a business at the time they want to do it. Because the parking is built for the shopping center, not for this event. So the 44 inch and high and 140 square foot long, I think it's the city consider to make that, because you have to turn it down right now, because when any problem, people run out, escape from the building, they cannot, run to the driveway. They have to run from the rest field. And also, the city, the Garden Mall, they have a lot of failed permit, like the 1975 monument. They have to turn it down, or they have to have a barricade around it. And also the city enforcement so the enforcement, they have to know what the event is, so they can do the warning or citation for them. And also, I just want to know, to make sure that, the city have to collect all the money, all the fee from any permit, banner. If we waiver for them, it means we get into the problem, conflict interest. So that's why we have to collect even a dollar, we have to collect for the city, because that's a revenue for the city. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kathy Bukos.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, staff. My name is Kathy Bucco. I'm here today to, as a consultant actually, to represent Bridge Creek. And Bridge Creek Realty is the management company for Asian Garden Mall and Asian Village across the street, and Dover 2, and a number of other properties up and down both. So I'm here to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Chad Wink.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members, and staff. My name is Chad Vonka. I'm here today specifically to address the revenue portion of the budget that's on the agenda. Westminster, as you know, is a vibrant, unique city with a global impact. And when I reviewed the agenda, it was clear to me that the city really needs to find ways to generate more revenue. I'd like to be part of the solution. I've got a concept I just asked you to consider generally. I work as a municipal cannabis policy expert and recently met with the CEO of a state-licensed cannabis company. This company has identified a location in Westminster, but on the border of Huntington Beach. The CEO mentioned to me that her company, if they were permitted by the city to open a state-licensed dispensary, that they'd be able to deliver up to $3.6 million in general fund revenue to the city of Westminster, with additional annual payments of no less than $1.5 million. These would be general fund revenues. The method that the city could use to enter into such an agreement would be a development agreement. So these would be contractually obligated payments that the city could count on and budget on so that you could deliver the services that the people of Westminster need. Today, we just ask that you consider this general concept. This isn't a specific ask, but I wanted to make sure, since you're talking about the budget and since there is a revenue issue, that you were aware of these dollar amounts. These are pretty significant. So I just ask that you consider that, and I thank you for your service to the people and for your time today. Good day.
And our final speaker is Terry Raines.
Good afternoon. Item 2 is a special event permit for Asian Garden Mall's night market from June 16th to September 3rd. Coincidentally, Traffic Commissioner Joseph No and No Key were going to hold a press conference here at City Hall today regarding Asian Garden Mall's 1975 pillars, night market, and proposed parking structure. And there was a press conference at 11 a.m. by Lancook Wynn and Company. I spoke to Asian Garden Mall's property manager. For the past 12 years, the city has only required a temporary use permit for this annual event, not a special event permit. The applicant submitted a temporary use application again this year and received an approval approval letter on May 1st, which is in your staff report. Upon approval, they began collecting deposits from vendors, advertising and investing in the planning and design of the event, which starts in just 9 days. The applicant just learned Monday night that the city is now changing the rules to require a special event permit approved by council. How can the city retroactively change the rules on this applicant after granting them approval? If council does not approve the special event permit today, the applicant could conceivably still hold the event using that letter of approval as their authorization as long as they meet all of the terms. If the city tries to shut them down, the applicant and or the vendors could potentially sue the city for damages. This event attracts a lot of visitors to our city. I hope the applicant fully complies with California Tax and Fee Administration's Publication 111 and Form CDTFA 410D and obtains each vendor's business name, mailing address, telephone number, driver's license and state ID, description of items for sale, and their seller's permit number. If no seller's permit is required, a valid reason must be provided, i.e. my retail products are not taxable, my sales are exempt occasional sales, I sell on behalf of Section 6015 retailer, or I'm a qualified itinerant vendor. The city must receive as much sales tax revenue as possible from this event, so council, please approve this special event permit today. We certainly do not want to get into a legal battle with this applicant and have this truly special event die because of it. Regarding item point 3, the proposed FY23-24 budget and revised supplemental request, I was appalled at how unprepared this council was at the last session. That had better not be the case today. Thank you for adding costs to the position table, as I suggested, but is that fully burden cost, or is that just base salary cost? My other changes were ignored for staff to prioritize the request from most critical to least critical, provide more in-depth justification for each, and provide more data and narrative in executive summary format so this council has the tools necessary to provide direction. With the revised supplemental budget, the general fund is projected to be completely out of money fiscal year 26-27, just 3 years under your watch. Council, you must ask pertinent line item questions and provide specific direction on each requested position and reclass. It's not an all or nothing proposal. And for God's sake, stop texting and pay attention. Our city's survival is at stake here. Our city's fiscal health and providing efficient quality services to the public must be your top priority. If it isn't, you don't belong on this dais. Thank you.
Mayor, we have no further speakers.
All right, thank you so much for that. At this point here, I want to close the oral communication. The next item is special event permit application from Asian Garden Mall to hold night market event series each Friday through Sunday from June 16, 2023 through September 3rd, 2023 at Asian Garden Mall, 9200 Bosa Avenue. May I ask for a staff report, please?
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, members of the public. This item, the subject of this item, as you stated, is special event permit application for Asian Garden Mall to hold a night market event series that takes place every Friday through Sunday from June 16th through September 3rd at the Asian Garden Mall, 9200 Bolsa. A little bit of background on this and how we got. My mic was off. The Asian Garden Mall night market has taken place for over a decade. It takes place at 9200 Bolsa. The night market consists of a series of events, as I stated earlier, pretty much during the summer months on weekends. Each year, the Asian Garden Mall has submitted and received a TUP through the Community Development Department. TUPs are issued administratively by staff, right? Recently, there were some concerns expressed regarding the permitting process for the Asian Garden Mall night market. Upon review of these concerns that were brought to light, the city manager's office took it upon themselves to sit down with staff and essentially make a determination as to how this night market should be approved. It was concluded that the best approach at this time, in accordance with what is in our municipal code, is that it would be designated as a special event and not a TUP. And that is why we're bringing this application for you today, before you as a special event permit. At this point, I'd like to turn the presentation over to Vanessa Johnson, who's our Community Services Director. Special events are processed by the Community Services Department. We also have members of Code Enforcement here tonight to address any questions that the council may have. Vanessa.
Thank you, Adolfo. Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Like Adolfo said, we are bringing this to your consideration for a special event permit. Similarly to a TUP, events are routed to the various department to get conditions. These conditions are similar event to event. So the conditions met for the TUP are similar to those that will be required for a special event permit. This event is proposed to start next week, hence the reason we're here before you today. There are some additional requirements. We will require insurance from the applicant and a hold harmless. Those are different than TUP requirements. If there's specific questions, the applicant is here and can be available to answer questions, and any other staff that needs to be available as well. With that, thank you.
Thank you very much. So my understanding is that staff bring this item to ask the City Council to approve a special event. And that's subject to the condition that have inside the ordinance that we already set before.
That's correct.
Okay. My question, let me go ahead and state this first, and then I will follow up with the question. I know that this event have been put up a number of years every summer. And to me, I think that I rarely go there, but sorry about that. But I know that people enjoy the event during the weeks that month that they put it there. It's a chance for the people to enjoy summer time, and I can see that through the community, through the number of people who attended the event. My question to follow up with the staff is, for all those years, do we see any problem? Have we seen any problem, a major problem happen at those events?
So I spoke to the Community Development Department who's issued the TUP over the years, and we have not received any formal complaints about the night market. I know that the night market has grown over the years, and in my former role as the transportation manager, I conditioned some safety enhancements to the entrance and also to the turn pocket that was feeding traffic into the site. So we have continued to make modifications every time they come to us. The one thing that has been consistent in recent years is the layout of the night market. And I would like to state, and I think Vanessa can talk a little bit more about this, but it's not just staff's eyes, it's also the fire department that is signed off on the layout and the health department that signed off on the layout. And the layout's been pretty consistent every year. The applicant is here if she'd like to talk a little bit about the specifics, but I just wanted to make it clear that different agencies that the focus is safety have looked at this each year, and that's how we arrived to this approved site plan.
All right, thank you. Is that your request to have the applicant to come up and talk about it, or?
No,
you just,
no,
okay,
none of this.
all
I'm
right,
just
thank
making
you.
it clear that she's still available if there's
Okay.
questions.
I would think that it is a good event for the community to enjoy. To me, I think that from the council standpoint, I urge you that we need to continue with this one, and the staff will follow up with after the special event granted. Staff will make sure that everything that in the ordinance they will work with Asian Garden Mall people to make sure that they are up to the requirements that we put out. Is that correct? Am I making it?
No, that's correct, and that's what we do with each event that's approved.
Okay, so I will open up for you guys to comment about it, but I will make a motion to approve. So next is Councilmember West.
Mr. Mayor, I actually would like the applicant to come up and speak on this night market and just shed some light on it. I think that'd be great. Kathy, would you come? Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, there's the second
Oh.
motion and second, but you still, we have time for the comments, so.
We can talk about it
please,
now, right?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for approving it again this year. Somehow or another, I think it's been mixed up over all these years. No fault of the city or anybody else, but I think we fall under the CUP, actually, because my understanding in reading the code and everything, and don't forget the code is 40 years old. I mean, it hasn't kept up with what we're doing today and how Little Saigon has grown and all the things that have changed in our city over the years. Yeah, we've been doing this for 12 years. Just to go back to our Flower Festival, which is pretty much the same layout, except it's every day. And we've been doing that for 19 years at Asian Garden Mall without any incidents that we are aware of or any problems with the city. But one thing I do want to make clear is that all of the, we have about 50-some vendors. Almost all of them are returns from year after year after year. They've figured out the system of how difficult it is every night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, weekends, for them to come and actually set up all of their cooking stuff and everything, and then that same night, tear it all down. We're there till midnight every night to make sure everything's cleaned up. We always have a staff person on. We have 24-hour security. The whole thing is on cameras from the mall. Police have been fantastic over the years. They stop by, they get a bite to eat. The fire department comes over all the time. You're right next door. All those things are really, really good. But I think I'd like to let you know, for the people that stand behind me, every one of these vendors have a seller permit. They are not allowed to be there without a seller permit. All of them have to be associated with a restaurant that is in our town and that are licensed and clear with the city and all of that. All of them have a business license from the city. So the city does give us a special rate and everything, but each one of them have a special, so they have all their full names, addresses, phone numbers, all of that information. We don't take these on without protecting ourselves. And when they were talking about insurance, sure, we can supply insurance all the time. We are fully insured. But I also wanted to say that they all have health permits. All the people that are cooking all have their own health permit. The health department comes out every time. I meet with them every year, going through the whole thing, checking them out, making sure they comply. They actually have classes. And our vendors are required to attend those classes at the health department, where they go through all the rules and regulations of food and transferring food and all of the information that they need to be able to have the business there. And they know, because most all of them are associated with the restaurant anyway, of all the requirements of the health department. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Parking, they were talking about parking. I think you all know, if you go down to Little Saigon and you visit and you shop, and I hope you do, and eat, and we've got everything you'd ever want down there. But most of the businesses all close early. I did inspections yesterday with people from our insurance. We do that every year. Inspections with our mortgage lender. We do that every year. This was all going on this week. But even I discovered that how early all the businesses close. Our night market doesn't start until 7. It goes from 7 to 11, and then we have like an hour or so to clean up. They all clean up their own space. But it's for you to know, and those of you that don't know, perhaps, across the street, we manage all the properties across the street. Asian Village, Dover 2, where the Adong Market is. All of that is under our management, our security, and all of our tenants know us, and we've been there. I've been there for 32 years, so I know pretty much almost every single tenant. But it's important for you to know that they close early, so it really doesn't take a lot of parking away from Asian Garden Mall tenants. In fact, our Asian Garden Mall tenants, and I'm over there nearly every day that I work there, look forward to it. It's where they get more business, more people come. We get people from out of town. Our security checks license plates. How many people travel here just for this night market to come here? They'll make their vacation to come to Little Saigon, and they'll come here to the night market. People come, I meet them out there all the time from San Jose, San Diego, drive down just for the night market. So parking is not a problem. We allow them to park across the street at Asian Village, because it's mostly all businesses there, there's only a couple of restaurants, all close early, so there's a lot of parking afterward. Same with Dover 2, the building where the Adong Market is, and behind the Adong Market, there's like 60, 70 parking spaces directly behind. And that's where most of the people know. Most of the people come every year, and they know where to park. I wonder how they get there sometimes, because there's so many people, but they find a way, they know their way around, and they find a place to park, and there's all that parking across the street available. I just wonder if there's, what I was going to say is, it looks like, from what I read, a special event is covered more for events that are off public property. I mean, on public property, we're private property. So it's when they do things in the street, in the park, or at City Hall, or wherever, that those, I understand, would require a special, and that's what I think they do when they have your own events. You probably have to have a special permit, but somehow or another, we do fit under the conditional use, it's a temporary conditional use permit. But as Vanessa said, all the requirements are the same for pretty much for both events. And we have always complied in time. We actually paid the fees, which I understand the fees are a lot more for a CUP than they are for a special event, but that's okay. We've already paid, and we've paid every year. So if that helps for people to understand that the night market is part of Little Saigon. People have tried to copy us all over, 86, all of those. They all try to emulate and copy what we do. No one has it. You could go on YouTube and see, hundreds and hundreds of events that we have there that are all on YouTube that people see from all over the world. We're trying to bill ourselves. I know you all are up there, and you should be if you're not, but I know you all are, trying to pull us off as a tourist destination. It's the night market and our flower festival and things like that that really put us on the map as a tourist destination. Asian Garden Mall itself has become an icon. We're known all over the world. We're known all over the world. We're known more in Vietnam than we are even in Little Saigon. And so it's important that we continue. These are almost traditions now that we have these events, and we pay a lot of attention to making sure that it's safe, secure, legal, and the tenants all comply. And so I'm just hoping that clears up a little bit on our side.
Kathy,
but if you want to do it, sure, go ahead.
So I do like the fact that you have security 24/7, and all the seller has permit and also business license as well. Now, my question is, I know you didn't touch on it, so I wanted to know, would all those vendors with business license, how are they charged for the food? Are they using their credit card or cash? And I know with this city, we do want to make sure money are coming in. Or are there a requirement that you guys are doing there that they have to have a little machine to kind of use their credit card?
We do have the advantage of credit cards. Very few use credit cards, as you know that. Very few use credit cards in Little Saigon. It's mostly cash. We've received checks, but it's mostly through cash. So does that answer your question?
Yes, because what we are trying to do as a city is to make sure that the businesses are paying their fair share as well.
Understand.
And as you know, there will be a lot of people coming into this event. And we want to know that those business owners, those who have business license, will be able to pay that taxes to the city as well.
I don't think it's
So-
our job to require them to pay a certain way. I know the Board of Equalization has been out a few times to our event, and they're trying to make sure that they get their fair share, from their businesses and that. But we don't make that a requirement. I don't make that we don't make that a requirement even at Asian Garden Mall. I'm not sure legally that we could make that requirement.
Is that a city attorney?
Yes. Thank you. City attorney, can you
Well, I can't give you a definitive answer on that, but I think as landlord or as the person operating the event, arguably you could make that a requirement of participation. So
Okay.
I won't give you a definitive answer on that, but I think as the landlord, as a lease term or maybe for an event like this, for participation.
We do keep track of everything, though, because we have receipts on everything that they've paid.
Right. And I think, you know,
Councilmember Wayne,
since,
and
can I
Councilmember
finish?
West, can I jump in? Is it a subject that we need to discuss today, or it has to be a ring up the other day for this, particularly in terms of taxes for the business because I think this today is we're talking about the event permit. So we need to concentrate on that, whether we grant the event, the permit for the event or not. I don't think that we need to dig deeper into that if we are not agendized, for example.
Well, Mr. Mayor, all I'm asking is that a suggestion with
okay.
the attorney permission
We
already,
understand.
that you guys
Sure.
can.
Yeah.
So all I'm asking as a council is that if you, for me, if you can just say not a requirement, say, we suggest that you guys have this
We
machine, if you
suggest
guys
it.
do.
We suggest it
If you guys
frequently.
can do that, that'd
Even
be
in the
great,
rent, don't
Kathy.
forget, we've got, thousands of tenants that pay rent. And most all of them do pay either by credit card. And I'm noticing more even at Asian Garden Mall how many people are now coming up with their credit card machines. And I've gotten that before too, where people said, gee, I had to spend all this money and I didn't get it on my credit card. I could have got points or whatever, but.
So would you be able to put that in your
It's a learning
application?
curve for I think for our tenants and people who shop here. I've seen lots of people who shop here, even some people from the city, when they buy something, they pay cash. And cash is always good with everyone. Cash is king, right?
Yeah.
But no, we do encourage, and we do encourage when we're doing leasing, we encourage them to obey the law. I mean, they need to know, and somehow or another, I think this is a Board of Equalization thing, where they understand how important it is and where that money goes. They just look at it directly as, they have to pay all these fees on the credit card, and that's like, it's easier just to, money's important, so.
Right, and all I'm asking, if you can put that
Understand.
in the application, say, we, would recommend, but it's not require, if you can have.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be
Sure.
great.
Sure.
Thank you,
Okay.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember West, I know that you second the motion. Do you have anything to add?
Just a quick, I know, thank you, Kathy. You
Yes.
answered a lot of my questions I had when it comes to the permitting and security and the parking. So I think you covered a lot of the concerns that have been brought up by some of the speakers and, again, some of the things I jotted down. So thank you for answering that. I just had a question about maybe the staff, the difference between a temporary use permit or which they've been operating under before, right? A temporary use permit, as I understand, and this special event permit, as far as it be even on public and private property. So since they're private property, is the special event permit the proper one to use?
So I'll start off by saying that the event, the night market started off as a much smaller event than it is today. If you read the code under special events, it says open to the public, advertised to the public, expected to bring a lot of people to your event. These are all statements that are made in the application. Yes to all of the things that I just stated. In addition to that, recently, I would say about 5 years ago, we conditioned them to they requested to close off a turn pocket on the street. So now we're impacting vehicle traffic on a street. At that point, you're now in public right-of-way. That's why we've made the determination that special event is appropriate.
Okay, yeah, that's my question. So thank you. Thank you.
But we
Kat.
don't do that for the night market.
We're not closing off
Okay,
anything.
thank you. Thank you.
And if I
right.
can add, special event permits do apply to private property.
Okay.
So Westminster Mall is
okay.
issued
Okay.
special event permits.
permit.
Typically, those are administratively approved because they are on private property and are under the threshold of the attendance or the scope of the event. And this one being a new special event permit, it's hitting some of those criteria where we're bringing it to council for their
So
approval.
my understanding, we are going through a special event application now.
No.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so that would be we would have to do this if they continue, they want to do it every year, we would have to go through this process every year. Correct?
Yes.
That's an
Right.
internal thing.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
So,
I appreciate it.
thank you.
Councilmember Hall, do you have anything to add or comments?
Any more questions?
Well, okay, so I have not seen any written complaints from, are there any written complaints from the neighborhood, others, other businesses around?
We have not received complaints, and one of the conditions is for the applicant to notify the surrounding area of the event. And that is typical, this is a condition of all special events and is in the TUP requirements as well.
And that's one, again, why we have the information on the barricade out front, announcing that it's going to happen. So people know in advance, if you drive through Bolsa or come anywhere around there. Don't forget, I think almost, and I have a lot of tenants who live over in some of the areas in Jasmine and all of the places around, but many are our tenants, and many are the people that are part of the night market. We get a lot of them that come. That's why I think they open up their back fences with a gate so they can come through and just walk through and they don't have to drive through. But we do get, and as far as we know, I mean, we're there. The mall never closes. We're open 365 days a year. So, and we always have security there, and we always have a management person there. We've, plenty of reasons if anybody had a complaint that we're there to receive it and understand.
So if I just want to clarify, your mall opens until what time? 7?
The mall closes, the official hours close at 7.
7. And the night market begins at 7? Okay. So,
But most of the
but
tenants
you
at the
need
mall close
you need to set
before
up a couple
7, yeah.
hours ahead,
Yeah.
correct? So you start setting up like at 5?
We start setting up, and the tenants all know that. We start setting up, clearing the parking lot at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and so that by 5:30, 6 o'clock, the vendors can start to come in and bring in their stuff to set up for the 7 o'clock opening. So, yeah,
How do you clear the parking lot? You tell everybody get out?
we
or
have
you
big
start-
signs. We notice everybody. We notice all of our tenants. They all know. But people around, if they were coming there to shop, we've got big signs all around. And we have barricades set up, so they'll see the barricades, and we have security out there at all times. So if anybody drives in and says, how come I can't get in, or how come is the mall open? The mall's still open. And so all we're doing is clearing it for the vendors to bring their cooking utensils and their products in.
So the reason you don't have, I know this never came up before, but now that you looked into it and you realize that you don't have a special event permit, and according to the ordinance, and you mentioned the ordinance is 40 years old, but according to the 40-year-old ordinance, you are required to have a special event permit, correct?
We're required to do whatever the city tells us to do.
But you don't have, what kind of
And when
permit?
we apply, they direct us and they
I got it.
tell us what to do.
Okay, so, so thank you. I just want to say that I know that a lot of people are looking forward to your event, the night market. And I think we all know that it begins in June and ends in September, and I always try to make it over there during the 3 months. Sometimes I miss it one time, and I feel really bummed when I do. So I know people are like really looking forward to it, and they plan their trips probably, during that time. And the only thing I say is that it has to be clear that you got to be clear what permit you need to have. And because it is really the responsibility of
course.
you as the applicant.
We
or
always
the-
follow what the city requires us to do.
Okay, so I don't know what happens, there's a misunderstanding between staff and your Bridge Creek company, but, right, correct? Is that what happened?
I think when Adolfo was explaining the process and 12 years ago and the
Yeah.
scope of the event has grown and some concerns arise and it was brought to the city manager's attention. So we took a look at it and deemed at this point in time, this now is a special event permit.
And that's fine with us. Whatever permit the city wants us to take, we will take it and pay for it, so,
All right, and it is fine with you, right?
Yep.
Okay,
for
thank you.
sure.
I may have other questions, but I'm okay for now.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
can I have a
Vice Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
I have here with me the TUP with like 77 items that listed on this. And I was wondering that the firm that you represent is comply with all the items here.
We wouldn't get approved if we didn't comply.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think if you comply with all the items here that I saw it was written very, very in details and it's cover everything from insurance to parking lot and electric, everything. I can see it. And if in that case I have no problem, approve it. But that's one thing that I concern. Like a year ago when I rented an office across the Asian Mall, and I'm doing some recording. It's very annoying that the noise from the live band that disrupted most of my recording at night, like around 8 or 9. So I don't know if we have the rule for that, Chief Darren, about the noise.
Yes, they do.
Yes, Vice Mayor, we actually do have an ordinance for that. We would need a complaining party to actually get involved with that. It's state law, but if it disturbs someone's peace, people are able to call and we are able to take action.
Okay. The reason that I brought this one up because 2 years ago when I participated in one of the rally right outside the city hall, and 2 of the police officers came up to the one on the speaker, and they said that you are not allowed to use the speak horn. So that person said that. Okay, so what is the policy? What is the ordinance? And just tell me. And the dispatcher and the police cannot answer. So what is the certain loud noise that you can allow?
So that is a different question. Amplified music is not regulated, to my knowledge, by state law. It's regulated by a Westminster Municipal Code. For that question, I'd actually ask that the code enforcement manager come up and answer what our regulation is pertaining to amplified noise or, in this
Yes,
case.
please.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I may
So, am I
just
excused?
make a statement.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty quickly.
Just, really quick one.
Let me
I
stay
believe,
here.
what is
You are done. You
Okay,
can
thank
go back to your seat.
what's the decibels that's measured?
Yeah, the decimal,
Yeah, and I know that there's a particular range of decibels, and then if there need be, if there's a lot of complaints, I remember that when I was on Planning
Ma'am,
Commission.
you don't have to,
that you
you
can-
don't have to come up unless,
You can
wanted to
actually
kind of answer Councilmember
Okay, sure.
Kimberly Howe.
But that would be
We have our
according
own
to
decimal
ordinance.
machine there that we monitor the noise level.
So then, if so, then I think in our ordinance, it says very, very particularly how many decibels, and it has to be under that. So
Right.
if we can, you can connect with our assistant city manager or no?
Yes, because to my knowledge, around that area, we have so many mobile homes, and the seniors in those mobile homes, I think they might get affected by the noise which is ranged by from 7 to 11, right, Kathy? So the live
Yes.
music, is it from 7 to?
7 to 11 is the event time,
All right.
yes.
So I think that is a little bit too much. If I might propose a little bit change to the one that we have here, with all due respect, I love to propose the time to from 8 to 10. You know, at that time, the senior can go to sleep very well.
We've already been approved, right? And we've been doing it those hours, I could say, for the last 12 years with no complaints.
Yeah, I understand that it's been going on for a while already, so I mean,
Have you
there's-
ever reached out to the seniors around that area to ask if, you know, because I know that the Vietnamese folks, they are not going to complain, but they feel really, really,
Most of those folks
annoying.
are out there dancing and enjoying the night market.
Okay.
I can tell you that. A lot of neighbors just walk over. Thank you.
So is that your comment, or is that what?
Let me see.
Can I
if
touch
have
on what Mr. Vice?
Hold on.
Yeah, that's all my.
Thank you very much.
My comment. Are you back, Mr. Mayor?
At this point here,
Can I ask one more question?
okay, sure.
I believe that we, as a staff, and Kathy didn't answer the very legitimate question from Mr. Ngô here about the banner. Okay, can anybody answer about the banner?
So in the conditions, they are required to get a banner permit and go through community development. Those restrictions are listed on the banner permit.
According to our papers, it shows that the banner permit was included in our approval. We don't call that a banner. I call your signs banners when you put your name up there when you're running for office, or we have banners in other areas. But to me, this is more of a barricade. It's a barricade because this is right where the people are cooking, right along that area there next to the sidewalk in front, facing Bolsa. That's where all the cooking is going on and all their employees are all there. We call it a barricade to protect them in case there's any traffic come through, or we have a lot of transits come through, people trying to steal things and things like that. So we call it more of a barricade, and it's really to enclose it and to keep it safe.
Mayor, if we can invite our code enforcement manager, Vicki Morgan, who's actually,
Yes, please.
Okay.
as opposed to the
Okay,
Thank you very much for that.
applicant. Absolutely.
While waiting for code enforcement, let me ask staff, what time do we have to clear out the dais for the next meeting? Do we have to clear out the dais for the?
There's no planning commission meeting today.
There's no meeting?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
I've been
you're
told
great.
that there's another meeting follow after this. So, okay, all right, that's good. We're good to go. Please.
So, by definition of the code, is that, oh, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the council. My name is Vicki Morgan. I'm the code enforcement manager. Myself and my staff went and did a site inspection. In fact, again, we did one today, and photographed the area in question. By definition of the municipal code 17.330.025, temporary signs, it defines what a banner is. And a banner is, it's one per principal use, could be no more than 40 square feet. It has 60-day maximum per year. You can divide that only 2 times in a year. That's what the definition of a banner is. The area that we're talking about is not considered a banner. We would consider it more of temporary fencing. We see that often when we have special events, even at the mall. They can be chain link fencing that can be 6 feet high. It can be 3 feet high. The area of the blue barrier, which we are considered temporary fencing, In fact, the fire department also did a site inspection and referred to it as the same thing, temporary fencing. It is put in by poles. The poles, the material is connected with zip ties, so it can be easily removed and re-erected. It can be erected during the event, but it is not by definition of the code defined as a banner. It is considered more temporary barricade or temporary fencing, which is very common with special events that we have within the city.
Vicky, so basically, I guess it's not like a banner from what your definition is, more of a fencing. So would it be under a different approval than versus a banner approval, sign and banner approval on this?
It would be just considered a condition of the permit itself, whether it be a temporary use permit, a special event permit. Often they will have a barricade. It could be chain link fencing. It could have screening on it. And those are often conditions. They will mark it that they're going to have a barricade if they're going to want to secure the property in some way. And in this case, this temporary fencing, it's erected in the planter area that runs alongside the sidewalk, inside their planter area, so it doesn't affect any exiting of any sort, because that's a planter area anyway, so people wouldn't use that as an exit. It also keeps people in for safety, so they're not stepping onto the street during the event. But it's not, by definition of the code, it is not considered a banner. It is simply considered temporary fencing or a barricade, but most likely we would refer to it as temporary fencing.
Okay, and then on that fencing, does it have pictures or wording, or what does it have on it?
This one does have verbiage on it. It does advertise the night market, and it does have the dates, and then it does have on both sides, it has the emblem of the Pachango Casino.
Okay, and then with this, I just feel like it's a little confusing to us when it says sign approval for temporary, ban, the banner. I think maybe in the future, if we can modify it, I think Vanessa, or, could say fencing, which will be appropriate, right?
So in this temporary use permit application, they did mark the box. Myself and Vanessa conferred on that. We did mark the box fencing because it is considered temporary fencing.
Okay.
You know what, Mr. Mayor, can I speak?
Go ahead.
This is my opinion. The meaning of a banner is, sending a message, right? We have either picture or text, so we catch, others' attention. So the banner and the fencing is totally different. Do you agree?
Correct. So typically with a banner is usually advertising a goods and services that is for sale. In this one, it is
so
advertising
in this
the
case,
event. Yes.
In this case, the fencing that you meant, the one that Asian Mom put out together, does it have text advertised on something?
It does. It advertises that it's the Asian Garden Night Market.
Okay, so is that the banner?
Not by definition in the code. It doesn't. It's not a definition of a banner. Now, do they have signage on the temporary fencing? Yes, they do. Would you, if that needs to be removed, that can be removed. But it is not. It's beyond 40 square feet, so it doesn't meet the scope and definition of a banner. Typically, a banner has to be no more than 40 square feet, one per business. It has to be attached on all four sides to the wall, and it has to have a banner permit on it.
Okay, so how much that we charge for a banner when somebody apply for it?
Is it 300?
So it's $300 now.
For how long?
$300 for a banner permit
For the whole event?
for 60 days.
Okay, so to me, it's very, very, it's not fair. Okay, if you have a very long banner, that's I call it a banner. Okay, it's like about what, 4 or 6 times that a regular banner, we have on the street. So with that, like a 6 times of the banner, doesn't more pay us anything. Can you, answer that question?
I'm sorry, could
Okay,
you
so
please
there's
repeat
no
the question?
Okay, so,
Is there compensation for the big banner?
No. Oh, no, there is no compensation right now for that large, what we call
so
temporary
I-
fencing, but
okay. So do you think that is fair for the city? Because I think that on the banner isn't more advertised for Pachanga, right? Kathy, can you
Yes.
answer that question?
As a condition of approval,
A condition of the approval, it was approved. It was approved to have the barricade there. It's there in the approval.
Okay, so
So
if
whether
we have a
you-
fence, we want a fence or a barricade, we just put the barricade there and a fence. We're not going to
Correct.
put a banner there.
I don't understand, because it's not a banner.
so the fencing is a part of the setup, and as a
Right.
condition of approval, the fencing is required. If the
Required.
council would like it to not have any form of text and font, that can be the condition, and they have to follow that.
Okay, so if we don't have the code for that kind of long banner, I suggest that we're going to put it into an ordinance or policy that next time we're going to make it a banner. Not a
I-
fence like to me.
I do agree with you on that, but at this point here, we
and
are
you
not
back?
talking about the ordinance. We are not changing the ordinance today. In front of us is to either approve or not approve, and my understanding from the code enforcement, this is the conditional, it's already, it's not a violation in terms of having that banner as a fence, because it's part of their application.
I'm just making the determination that it does not meet the definition of the current code.
Right.
That it is considered a banner.
Okay.
It is considered temporary fencing. Does it have verbiage on the temporary fencing that they're using for temporary fencing? Yes, it does. Now, that would be up to the council's decision if they want that verbiage to be removed from that fencing that they're using as the barrier, the barricade.
And this is typical in special events.
I was gonna
For
say,
any special event, because it's not a permanent fixture, it's not something that is going to
Right,
be there
it's
forever.
temporary.
It's special to the event, and those conditions are set by council, approved by council.
Council members, I know that we have the budget study session follow-up, after this. And I give each council member ample of times to ask question and dig into, any kind of question or comment that you
Well,
need to
Mr.
ask.
Mayor,
At
I
this point here, ma'am, I am talking. At this point here, I call for question. If I have a second, or we can vote on that.
No, I just want to address
Well,
something quick, Mr.
let me
Mayor.
ask, is there a second to the call for question?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right, then we have a call for question, motion by Mayor Nguyen and seconded by Councilmember Menzo. Please call for the vote.
Yes, Mayor. Councilwoman Fan West?
Well, before I make a vote, I'm going to make the statement quick. On the
Well,
application,
we can't do that.
I
We
know
need
I
to.
have-
You can't do that
there
right
will
now.
not be a fence on site. And she
Councilmember
marked
West,
no.
we
So what
are
your
calling for
statement
question.
is false.
We are calling for question, and we are voting right
So the thing is
now.
that we cannot be silent. When there is fact, we need to present fact to the public. On this application, when it says
City Attorney,
will a fence
what does the
be
law
erected
say
on
about when
site?
there's a motion
They
and a
mark
second on the floor
no.
for call question?
So when you guys are talking about fence, approving a
City
fence,
Attorney?
Yes.
This is
By
wrong.
law, we have to vote on the call, on what's on the table right now. The call of a question takes precedence over any other motion, so we have to vote on it.
So please call for the vote,
We
Madam
don't have
Clerk.
an option.
I'll go ahead and start roll call. Councilwoman Fan West?
Can you do a substitute motion?
No,
No.
this motion takes precedence. You
Councilmember-
have to vote on it. It's a preeminent motion.
It's unfortunate that
There's a
the
call of the
full
city attorney.
Call for
City
question,
attorney. City
ma'am.
attorney.
And the thing is that it's false information on an application.
Please,
And it
I am
says
calling
fence.
for
There's no
question.
fence, Mr. Mayor, and the public need to know the truth.
Yes, but then this is called for
If we approve of
question.
this, Mr. Mayor, it's going to set precedent for all.
Well, first of all,
And I'm
you're
not
worried
okay
about,
with
we need
not
to
being
follow the
fair
law.
and
You
being
call the
following
question
the
is on the
rule. If
floor.
we're presenting something false to
City
the
Attorney,
public, we're
am I
not going to
do-
allow to do that.
Well,
I
you-
represent the
can I-
people of
can I
the
ask you
first
to-
district,
can I ask
Mr.
you to-
Mayor. You have
Right.
one vote, I
Right.
have one vote.
Yes.
So please be respectful.
Please, please, you have one vote, I have one vote. It's decided by the council whether we are calling for question or not. And we have the motion and second on the floor, and the rules is that when there is a motion and second to call for question, we need to vote on that before we move on.
And this
Am
is
I
a,
correct, City Attorney?
yes, you are correct. And this is a motion to stop debate and vote on the motion that's on the table. So this is not a motion to approve the application. This is a motion to stop discussion and to vote on the motion that was seconded. So it is already on
My
the table.
answer is no. I don't want to stop the discussion. I want continued discussion.
Okay.
Councilmember Monzo,
Yes.
Councilmember Ho,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nguyen,
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen,
Yes.
motion passed.
Thank you very much. And because of that, we have the motion on the floor, motion by Mayor Nguyen and seconded by Council Member Menzel. So please do the roll call, please.
Okay. Councilwoman Fan West,
Is this to vote to approve? I have no problem approving this, but on the application, Kathy, and with the code enforcement, I'm not okay with that. And we need to revisit, that's why I want to talk about it more. And unfortunately, this has stopped the discussion, and I want that clarity. So maybe the code enforcement can verify that with this application, because right now, I approve of your event. I think it's great to draw public in and to have a place for everyone to meet during the summer. But the application is not, I'm not okay on that process. And what the code enforcement is talking about, that there's no fencing, you mark no fencing, but yet there's a fence as a barricade. That poster, that banner is a fence. So I have a problem with that. So my vote is yes to approve the event.
thank you. Councilmember Monzo,
Before I vote, I'm not disrespecting or disrespecting Councilmember West's concerns. That is a conversation, and it could be an agenda item to look into that issue. But to have that conversation here now it's inappropriate. So my answer is yes.
thank you. Councilmember Ho,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nguyen,
Yes.
Mayor Nguyen,
Yes,
5-0, motion passed.
thank you very much. Now we can move on to the study section. Right? You have a question? Or?
Can we move?
Uh,
Adjourn the meeting?
Okay, unfortunately, there are two of our council members need to go, and they can't, we can't continue with its study session, so we have to, my recommendation is to move the study session until a later time. So,
Can we have the study session with just 3 members? It's just information.
we actually have a quorum for 3.
You know what, on the agenda, it say very clearly that we have the meeting from 2 to 4, right? That's what I've been asking to join.
It says starts at 3, it doesn't say end time.
Yeah, there's,
It never puts an end time.
well, in consideration for the other
Yeah.
2 and the budget study, I think it's very important before we adopt it. So I move to, I ask staff to go ahead and schedule for the later time. And at this point here, I would like to thank you all for being here. I would like to adjourn the meeting.